As I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then storming weather's go too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done, but the time is hit you, you're not surprised.
Here, but I figured I should show you my taxes. Here they are. There's actually a big thing from my tax attorney that I got yesterday. 2017 taxes. You know, and in here, a ridiculous amount of documents and information about, it breaks it down into detail and everything about everything that happened over the course of 2017, what I paid, what I owe, the bill that I got from my tax attorney, yada, yada, yada. It's all right in here, all right? Now, I can't show this to you because it has a ridiculous amount of personal information in there. It's got my tax ID number. It's got filing numbers. It's got addresses. It's got all this information that if it leaked, obviously you know exactly what the trolls would do with it. So I'm not going to show you any of that stuff, all right? So we will...
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for bid during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. It's right here for the number one.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Snort, Burnell, Dspgaming. False redemption run and massively strong begging. And I'm just going to add greed onto the end of that because it sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, you may or may not hear it, but that is Eminem and Royster 5'9" Caterpillar. Great song. Check it out. I am currently recording this on May 8th, but I believe this video that I'm currently going over came out either on the 4th or the 5th. I'll actually let you know when we start the video. Ladies and gentlemen, the greed is strong. The begging is going to be hefty for a little while. Why? Because Phil goes on vacation in like a week. Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Because he's getting ready to go on vacation, he needs all that money. He needs this money right away. ASAP, to pay the bills. But really, it's going to help for this little staycation that he might be on. Now, is it really a staycation? He's taking 3 days off. But you know he's going to take those 3 days off in the expectation that Kat wants him to go ahead and take her places. She's been there for She's been there for a little while. She's been there for a few months. I assume she wants to see some sights. She wants to go out and actually do something. Sitting around the house and doing chores is just petty. Let Phil handle that shit. But let's also go over what they might do around the house. And sadly, Kat, well, Phil, I know you're definitely listening, but Kat, if you're listening, let me go ahead and try to lay down the circumstances. Lay down the proper on what the situation is going to be. Essentially, you're just going to be taking up Leanna's hand-me-downs. Everything Panda did before you, you're going to end up doing. So I would assume if there's going to be some garden work, you'll be doing that because everything out there is dead. Speaking of which, and I have to say this to you now, Kat, because it's very important. If you find 2 small corpses out there, it was Cinnamon and whatever the name was of the other hamster. Don't be alarmed. The moment Panda left, of course, they had no chance of surviving. It is what it is. So please don't be alarmed by that. Now, back to you, Phil. We all know what this money's about. You made, what, $7,000 last month? Obviously, you haven't been paid out for that yet. Well, at least I wouldn't expect you to. But you got paid out already. So you're going to get paid $7,000. You tell me you can't hold off? You're making good money on your little donations or whatever. Patron's Choice has come back. So why is there this why have you recently started to ramp up that I really need this money right now, guys? You got to really help me do it, and it's going to go right to the bills, and so on and so forth, yada, yada, yada. You better come to a clear-cut decision on what you want to do, Phil. Because if you don't, you're only going to expose yourself in the obvious problems that you have. Which is you're lying, by the way. But not just that. not just that. Let's talk about this redemption run, or that false redemption run. If you guys were able to watch Almighty Tevin stream lately, or David Davison, who I think he did a stream also yesterday, maybe? Right around the time this whole Tevin banner thing had come out. I plan to do a video about that too. I'm doing some research because I want to talk a little bit about the history of Phil and Tevin, because there is a bit of history there, and so I want to go ahead and present that to you in a kind of lazy and disoriented way, and disorganized way that only I can bring to you. So give me some time and I'll work that out. It should be good though. But if you guys had a chance to watch any of Phil's, redemption streams, supposedly, he stretched out a couple of the boss fights. It's obvious that that's what he did. He purposely stretched out some of these fights, these boss battles. And he got called out for it on his own stream by people in his community that were like, "Hey Phil, what are you doing? Hey Phil, what is this? Hey Phil, why are you trying to stretch this fight out?" Now Phil ignored the chat then, because he took a quick glance, saw what people were saying, and just acted like, "Oh guys, I'm just gonna go head on with it. No, I'm trying to make it more entertaining." No, you're dragging it out. And that right there was kind of already proven, given the fact that he is alleged to have looked up information on how to beat some of these bosses going into the fight. So there you go on that. As well as, I think he's been accused of grinding. I don't know if that's really the case or whatnot. I wouldn't be surprised. It's Phil. He's not exactly the most honest person. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Let's see what comes out of it. I hope it's interesting. For some of you who are asked, are we going to do a Tevin video? We will, because there's a lot that I want to bring you, to be honest with you. Because when I saw all of this unfold yesterday on Twitter and on Kiwi Farms, and then I saw Tevin's video this morning at work, I was thinking to myself, a lot of it comes back down, at least for me, is the fact that I've watched a lot of Tevin's videos. And there's some key moments in Tevin's YouTube career, or I guess YouTube's presence, I should say. I don't know how you'd want to word it, where he's made a bunch of points that hit Phil hard. So I plan to talk about a multitude of stuff. I hope you guys like it and whatnot. I need receipts, and I'm gonna have to jump into some videos so I can send you guys there. Not only you guys catching the sound bite, but I can also send you guys there so you can watch some of those videos and get an idea of what's going on. Also, I'm probably going to end up bringing SOK back up for a particular reason that I hope you guys understand. I think once I get into that segment of the video, of my broadcast, you'll understand what I'm trying to talk about. So expect that. I'm not going to come at some crazy angle, but I think when you see how I slide it into my report, you'll kind of get where I'm coming from. But in any case, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the video. This is DSP News, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG network and productions. You guys all know the slogan. It's time to watch me work. Praise be Almighty, the gout, the doubt, and the snout. Ah, yes.
What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Sounds great.
I'm in a very good mood today, guys.
Because things have been going, pretty good on stream recently.
All right, guys. So, yet again, Snort Burnell, Dspgaming, false redemption run, and massively strong begging. This video was published by Snort Burnell on May 5th. I am currently recording it on the 8th of May. Yeah. Vacation time's right around the corner, right, Phil?
That's awesome stuff. I can't wait. I'm having so much fun.
I know, it's great, right?
Now, really seriously, and I cannot wait for more. This is cool because I'm getting that positive vibe that I had for most of 2017. I'm getting it back now. But now, I'm getting that groove back, getting that vibe back. I'm ready for fun stuff. I hope you guys are ready too.
This last week
I guess.
kind of totally reinvigorated streaming. And I'll be honest, I was nervous because for a week there when I was playing the launch of God of War, streams were very slow. It wasn't a very... Honestly, it wasn't a very high attendance week, wasn't a very high participation week. It was very, very worried that, is my streaming slowing down or people not liking my streams? When actually it was the complete opposite. It was that people just simply didn't want to be spoiled on God of War. This is last week that I've been playing Bloodborne, God of War, and everything.
I still have a hard time believing that that whole situation with God of War, but it is what it is.
Else, people have been showing up really, in droves and being...
If people really want to watch Phil play it, they'll watch him play it. You know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is. If they really want to watch you play a game, they'll watch you play the game. If they've kind of become burnt out on your content and they need a break and whatnot, then they need a break. I think it's just that easy. You know what I mean? Because why would you want to watch something that you've already played through yourself? Now, actually, I take that back, because I watch a lot of people do playthroughs of games that I've beaten, so I guess that's not too big of a deal. But why would you turn it into like this repetitive cycle where, like I said, I've said in previous videos, you play a chapter, then you watch Phil play it, then you play another chapter, and then you watch Phil play it. That sounds exhausting. It's really not, but it sounds exhausting and annoying. So, just my opinion.
Supportive, so, crisis averted. I don't have to be nervous, which is good. You guys are excited for the streams coming up, and I'm happy about that, okay?
Let the green roll in.
Yep.
You feed me more. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me.
That's the problem. Cats fed you too much as it is.
Their money. Give their money. Give me. But that's all I care about. By the way, I really, really wish that people in the stream chat would stop spreading misinformation. Now you got people saying I'm taking 5 days off. I mean, at this point, if people keep spreading misinformation, you're going to get banned. I'm just going to ban. All I can taste is the saltiness.
Because you're doing it on purpose. I literally just moments ago said I'm only taking 2 to 3 days away from streaming, and now you got people saying I'm taking 5 days off. Guess what? I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to have people spreading misinformation, so you better watch.
Who cares? If you're taking 3 days off and you show up in 3 days, or you show up when you say you're going to show up, then what's the problem? You know what I mean? Like, his paranoia is massively strong. It really is, too. Like, it's funny how someone who has spent a decade talking shit, now in his late years, I wouldn't say later years, he's not that old, but in his later years, seems to be so self-conscious about how people perceive him. In such a way, in fact, that he feels that censorship is the way of going about it, which in turn is only going to bring more attention to it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like something that I heard, I don't know, I've heard a couple of people say it, to be honest with you. But, I can't really pin down who in particular, but I've heard a bunch of people say it. He should just let a lot of the stuff roll off his back. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, right? If you're honest, and if you tell your fan base something and then you come through on it, then who cares what everybody else says? Who cares about the namesayers? Because, let's be honest, you're not popping if you don't have haters. You know what I'm saying? But Phil was never able to capitalize off of that. It's kind of funny as it pertains to the older YouTubers, where they're quick to ban you. They're quick to kind of delete comments and shit. It depends on what the comment is, though. Obviously, if you're spitting blatant racism or whatever, that shit's got to go. But, like, if someone's really just kind of shitting on you in particular, like, who cares? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why is that such... It's online. You know what I mean? It's the internet. It's what you kind of expect. You know what I mean? And Phil never was able to shake that. And then he had some opportunities to kind of take advantage of situations that he had, where he got embarrassed and whatnot, and he never took advantage of that. Like, for example, right now, he's shitting on Tevin because Tevin has a Leanna emote. I don't think he's the first one to have one. He probably won't be the last. Who cares? He should have one up there too with a giant X on it. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to say anything. He just have like a giant red X through her face. He's not gonna do that because he's just not gonna do it. Or he could do something. What he should do is do a giant emote of when he got caught wanking off on stream, where his head just kind of jerked back like He should have an emote of that. He should have an emote of all the detractor memes, so to speak, on his Twitch. Why not? Why not benefit off of it if you can? It is you. You do say it's your intellectual property. So try to go ahead and benefit off it if you can. Not in this petty ass way you try to do this is how you don't plays. Not like that, because that was terrible on your end. Because it wasn't a true this is how you don't play. It was a light touch, to say the very least. And it was disingenuous. It was really more to stroke you than actually be entertaining. And that's why it failed. To be honest with you, that's why it failed. So yet again, for someone who's been online this long, and for whose skin is still that thin, surprises me. But that's actually very telling of who he is as an individual. But we already know that, don't we?
DSP is really cool tiered again. He said you should do the Chalice dungeons. I already said I was going to at least try them. DSP is really cool tiered again. He said people said you were over leveled. Would you ever attempt Ludwig again on New Game Plus? Well, here's the thing. No, I wasn't over leveled.
I know you're lying.
Oh
People
boy.
that are saying that are sour grapes. All right.
Sour
If
grapes.
you are insanely good at Bloodborne, and if you are a master of building a proper character, and you have a build in mind where you've worked one weapon for the whole game, yes, you could probably go into the Old Hunters DLC roughly around level 60, 65, and you could probably tackle the whole DLC. Alright? However, in my case, I did try it. I listened to everyone, and I went in there at level 65. I couldn't even kill the normal enemies.
Any moment, I can pick up a controller.
You don't say.
And I can play any game at professional level.
Really?
Lol.
The normal enemies were taking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits to fucking kill a standard enemy that's supposed to be a peon that you can just,
Now, ladies and gentlemen, for you, some of you who are new to the newsroom, this is what you're going to hear a lot. Just a whole lot of excuses on his end from a casual player, from a Let's player who's just like the rest of us. I don't hear other Let's players who go on like this at all. You know what I mean? And really, it's because DSP is about himself. It's not even about the games. It's about him. You know what I mean? It's really what it is at the very basis of it. That's why he gets so upset when something in the chat isn't about him. He believes that when you go to a DSP stream, he expects that it's going to be completely focused, hyper focused on him and every aspect of him. But then he gets mad when you ask questions about him and about his life, the very life that he's going to put out there anyway. That's what his pre-streams are for. So what's the problem? Just like, for example, they're talking about, what is that? Weekend preview. Sorry. Weekend preview. Okay, Phil is talking about getting rid of that. He won't because it's his routine and whatnot. But he's throwing the idea around of not putting it out there. It's basically a verbal bulletin board. Sorry. And he's talking about eliminating it because his fan base is saying you don't really need it, so on and so forth. What's truly being said is people are like, oh well, people are using that against you, Phil. Maybe you should just consider not doing it. Just do it on Twitch, and then there you go. Here's the thing: Phil's been doing that for years, and it's another outlet for Phil to express himself. You got to understand, we're talking about someone who is in a house all day. And he only talks to one person in real life, at least that we know of. Outside of his parents, of course. And all the interaction that he has online is fake. It's not real. The realest type of contact that he gets is from detractors and haters, not from his fan base. It's all to please him, and a lot of it's fake. A lot of it's there because they have nowhere else to go. Or they hate the detractors so much that they're willing to baby Phil so they can kind of keep the war going. If you want to call it a war. That's it. There's nothing real around Phil. You know what I'm saying? Except for the haters. Except for the detractors. And the thing is it pisses him off. Because I would assume at this point in his career, air quotes, there would be so much more for him than this. You know what I'm saying? When he was young and stupid, he did all. It's hard to believe Phil ever being young. When Phil was young and stupid, he did his dirt. He made his mistakes, which he keeps making. But as he's gotten older, he's been hoping that a lot of that will ease back, and that now he can kind of just chill and settle in, and he can't. He can't escape that, and that's what bothers him, I think, more than anything. You know what I mean? He wants people to sing his praises, but he knows it isn't legit. Even the money aspect of it, he just looks at them as ATMs. He doesn't even look at them as people. He's not looking at it as, I'm gonna over glorify it, but like he's some type of emperor going through Rome, celebrating his tribune. He's not looking at it that way. He looks at all of them as just ATMs flossing money at him or tossing money at him because he asked for it. That's it. You know what I mean? He's in a constant circle of depravity in a lot of ways, and it's in a lot, and sadly, in one way or another, sadly, he's in a perpetual circle of depression that he can never get out of. You know what I mean? Because in truth, he has like I said, he has the haters, the detractors, the trolls, and then he has people within his own fan base that don't even like him. And then you have this kind of thing on his fan base that are like, oh, why do you hate him? Who said anything about hating Phil? I don't need to hate Phil. Phil hates himself. And that hurts him more than anything. You know, that right there is what really hurts. When Phil sits down and watches my videos and hits that thumbs down button, he knows I don't give a damn about it. He knows that the videos, guess what? There's going to be another video out the next morning. And don't even bother me. It's the fact that I don't hate him, and other people like myself, like my peers, who don't hate him, is what bothers him the most. He can sit there on his love seat and justify to you as his fan base, they hate me and they don't even know why they hate me, or I don't know why they hate me, this, that, and the third. I don't got no hate for Phil. I don't have any hate at all. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to call him out on his bullshit. I don't have to hate somebody to call them out on their bullshit. It's called an opinion, and anybody can have it. But Phil has to turn it into hate, hence his moniker. So do you kind of see what I'm saying? Like, this whole circle of nonsense that he's in is of his own making. The moment Phil Burnell labeled himself as the king of hate, he took everything that comes along with it. And as he's gotten older, he doesn't want it anymore. But then again, he has no choice but to take it, because what else is he going to be known for? He's not known for anything else. Is he too old to start all over? Hell no. It's just like people his age that just start saving up for retirement. Granted, you should not wait until you're Phil's age to be worrying about retirement. You should be doing that in your 20s. But if you choose to do that at, what is he, 36? At 36, you do it at 36. There are people who do career changes at 40. And they make it work. You know what I mean? But that's Phil's problem yet again. He doesn't want to put any more effort than needed. He doesn't want to start over. And he's scared to try anything new. And at the end of the day, it just falls into that ring of depression. You know what I mean? He's in his own little circle of hell. And the only thing that comforts him is the fact that he's hated. But he hates the fact that he's hated because he's tired of it. He wants people to sing his praises. He wants people to look at what he's done over the years and be like, you know what, Phil? Great job. But he doesn't want it from the people that are around him now. He would prefer to get that from the haters, from the detractors. He would prefer to have them sing his praises, or at least acknowledge them. The sad thing is, Phil, you can't even acknowledge them yourself, because you know they're not there. Sorry about that rant. Went off the railings there a little bit. My bad. Back to the excuses.
Be easily. I was backstabbing enemies, visceral attacking them.
And friends, too. Don't forget that, Phil. You've been backstabbing friends also.
Alright. And I wasn't even able to continue on with what I was doing. Like, I was stuck. I was at a point where I was like, this is insane. This is absolutely ridiculous that people want me to do this at this point. Like, I can't beat it. It's insanely ridiculous.
See? He can't even justify it. Like, you like, old Phil would have gone on a 10-minute rant on why it was so bad and break it down to the lowest common denominator. He doesn't even have the energy to do it now. He just doesn't. Can't even justify it anymore. Just saying.
Like, this doesn't make any sense. How am I supposed to beat this when I can't damage the enemies? You know what I mean? Really dumb, in my opinion. That people think that the common player has to be a certain level to tackle the DLC. So what did I do? I did the DLC when logically you would do it. Because if you remember, the DLC was released way later in the year. It was meant to be kind of a nearly post-game thing that you would do. So I beat all the in-game content up to the end of the game, and then I tried the DLC. Lo and behold, it was still challenging. Don't get me wrong. It was still challenging, alright? And it was fun. But I was able to beat it reasonably. Because I could actually deal damage to the enemies. Because the enemies didn't kill me with one hit. You know what I mean? Like, it was so fucking stupid.
Oh, yeah, salt. It's, even now, again, my mouth overpowered with salt flavor.
That people expected that I was going to be able to cruise through this DLC at a low level, you know?
People wanted to see the struggle, Phil. And I'm not talking about from a hate standpoint. I mean, you want to see someone struggle and overcome. You're supposed to be the underdog. That's what that's about. You see how you kind of screwed yourself there, Phil? You see how when you label yourself the king, like, you know, the ultimate underdog, you see how that kind of came back on you? The struggle and being able to overcome the struggle is part of the gaming experience. The casual gamer knows that. When you do it for money, when you do it for profit, and that's all you really care about, to the point that you're not even willing to complete games at times, is what ends up screwing you. A wiser person would know that. DSPNEWS.
It just doesn't make sense. Again, if you're a master of Bloodborne, and you go in there with a perfect build, you've been building towards having this kind of build the whole game, and you have a good weapon for that build, sure, then maybe you can beat the DLC at level 60 or 65. Not a normal person. So, it's ridiculous that people say that kind of shit. It really is. But anyway, no, I was not over level.
I'm good at lying.
And the other thing, well, Phil went in at level 80, but then he kept using his blood echoes to level up during the DLC. That's not fair. What? That's the point of blood echoes. Like, it just blows my mind. Again, people have these crazy standards when it comes to From Software games. Alright? You must do it in our incredibly difficult challenge run way, and you must hinder yourself in every way possible. The only way to properly beat the Old Hunters DLC is to be using a controller where only 2 buttons are functional while sitting and spinning on a fucking cactus. Okay, great. Great. That really sounds, like something I would be interested in, alright? It's so
I mean, I don't know. You brought up 2 buttons, so you might want to go back to the original NES. To be honest with you, it was a much simpler time, I would guess. I didn't get an NES until, like, much later on. It was out way before I was born. But, like, still, you might want to go back to that. I mean, don't get me wrong, the NES was fun. I don't know. I mean, it comes down to one of those situations where it's obvious that games are just too hard for Phil now. I mean, they were certainly too hard for him back then, but they're definitely too hard for him now because he doesn't have the drive for it. Old Phil, even though he was terrible at it, kept doing it, and he would keep recording it. He would do 3 hours worth of failure just because he could have the bragging rights of overcoming. Old Phil new Phil doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to go through that anymore. It has to get easier for him. And then he'll justify why he took the steps to make it easier for himself. And then he doesn't even have enough fight in him for that. It's just kind of sad when you think about it. You know what I mean? Because there are Let's Players out there older than Phil who don't complain like this. You know what I mean? And so that goes back to what I was saying. Phil's not a gamer. He's an old man who talks shit. And he's always been that way. He's a person who talks shit. That's all he's good for. And he's not even good at that anymore. He doesn't even have the fight in him for that now. The games are just there. Period.
stupid. It really is fucking just incredibly stupid.
The salty tears. Sorry. I beat the Old Hunters DLC. Too bad. It's that simple. Wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong.
Alright, Level Up Gamer Cheer, he said, is it possible to put a cheer X amount if you want to do co-op? I don't want it to be, oh, you have to cheer to do co-op with me in Bloodborne or anything like that. I don't think that's right.
Pretty.
Wait a second. So you won't let people basically pay to play with you. But you do feel the need to massively beg for money leading up to your vacation or time off or however you want to word it. You feel the need to ask a fan base, which is predominantly children, for money to pay your taxes so you don't lose your two houses. One house, a house and a condo. One condo, which, to my particular understanding, I'm sorry, you shouldn't laugh at anybody. See, that's a hard one because okay. So just in case you guys don't know, I'll do a video on it. I've been working on that too. Phil's condo back in Connecticut had a bit of an issue. Actually, it wasn't his condo, but it was the condo above it that actually caught fire. There's a hole in the roof. His particular condo, since it's on the bottom floor or ground level, we would assume is completely flooded out, mold and everything like that. That happened back in January, and the fact that Phil hasn't mentioned that surprises me. If you guys go on Twitter, you can basically hit up your favorite attractor on Twitter, check their timeline, you can find it. Because I assume all of us have it on our timeline, pictures, so on and so forth. I'll do a video later. Actually, Memology 101 and James the Lesser Express Lane. Shouts out to both those guys, by the way. Friends of mine. They both they both have done videos on it. I don't know if Mighty D has. Shouts out to Mighty D. I'm not sure if Mighty D has done a video on it yet, but check those 3 channels and you can find the videos on them. If not, I don't mind doing it. I'll go ahead and put the links to those 3 videos, if Mighty D has done one on it, in my description below. And you guys can go ahead and check that out. And then I'll do a video on it later on. So, now you have that. You know what I mean? So you've asked these kids to go ahead and cover your expenses, and you're basically living off of them. But you won't accept a couple of shillings to have them game alongside you. You feel like that's not right. But it's okay for you to go on a massive begging campaign for the last 6 months to cover your taxes and property tax and your mortgages. And eventually you're going to ask for money for the renovation to that condo. Unless insurance or something covers all that. Which I don't know if he has insurance on it. He owns it. I think he probably should. I'm not sure if it's mandatory though, but I would assume it probably is. Hopefully the insurance payout was good. I would hope. Just saying. But anyway, DSP logic though. That's the basis of all that.
Hypocritical, I agree.
Yeah, actually, massively hypocritical.
Quite frankly, I don't think it should be based off of a monetary contribution or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, so...
You mean like how some of those guys become mods? By making these large donations, and all of a sudden they've been given modhood? Well, I don't know if you call it modhood, but, you know, modship, whatever you want to call it. How does that work? Just asking.
Someone sent...
And... as the great Snort Burnell says, how's that not different from give me money and you get to nominate a game that I decide to play later? Same, you know what I'm saying? Snort Burnell's right. So how do you explain that? Gotta love Snort Burnell.
Phil a tip, and now Phil says you can join it. No, I'm never gonna do something like that. That's not right.
What?
Maybe, you know, if I were to do co-op in Bloodborne, maybe if I found some regulars in the stream chat and they were like, hey, we're willing to join you, then maybe. But no, I would never have force someone to contribute via a certain means of any way. You know, whether it be goods, services, or money. I would never have them contribute and then, oh, now I can join you in Bloodborne. That's ridiculous. I would never do that.
Very, very, very...
Isn't this coming from the same person, though, that says if you don't give me money, then my content's going to go away? Phil said that, right? Or he said a variation of that? Ugh.
Hypocritical.
Indeed.
Apparently, I'm short a few bucks in my PayPal account to repay for my PlayStation. I believe this is PlayStation View.
By the way, hint, hint. Come watch me and give me monies. And if you don't, I'll have no life and no way to make money.
Well, that stinks. I'm gonna have to change this tonight because they tried to redo it and apparently it did not work. I'm gonna have to update this tonight. Yeah, automatically add funds to renew a subscription. There it is. It is what it is. It's because if you guys aren't aware, like I said, I've been telling you guys this the past couple days. My funds are very tight right now because last month I had to pay my federal taxes to finish off what I owed for 2017. It was over $4,000. Okay.
Yeah, but you're talking. There you go. Like $4,000 out of the $10,000 that he made, on top of the extra shillings he made later on down the line. So how are you strapped for cash to where you can't renew a PS Live subscription or whatever the case may be? See, that's what I'm saying.
And that's a lot of money. It emptied out my bank account basically, and all my.
Then where did the other $6,000+ go? Think about that for a minute. Where is all this money going, Phil? And I'm sure, I mean, I don't think Cat is that high maintenance. So what are you doing with your money? It's crazy. He raised about 10 grand to cover these taxes. Spent 6,000 mysteriously missing. Amazing.
Bills are now clearing, and so what I've been doing is as soon as I get money into my account, my PayPal account, I immediately just dump it right into my bank account to make sure I'm covered for all my bills. So past couple of days, people have been like really generous with tips, which has been good.
And Snort brings up a very good point. Even if, well, not even if, even with using the money, some of that 6,000 to move Cat in and pay off other expenses and so on and so forth, he shouldn't be strapped. Not like that. Well, he shouldn't be strapped for cash, I should say. Phil's paranoia, he's probably going to get strapped up eventually. It's not going to be good either which way. But he shouldn't be strapped for cash. Not like that. Unless he has to be absolutely incompetent when it comes to his money. If you couldn't manage $6 grand from January to May 4th, you have real problems. You know what I mean? You have real problems.
Because it's allowed me to dump that money straight in to the accounts. But now, sadly, what's happened is I have nothing in there, because I keep emptying it out to pay my bills, and apparently...
Sorry about that. It's just, you hear it so often, it just gets repetitive. Oh my god, like, we've heard this begging story almost the majority of last year. And he's right back at it this year.
I guess I had it set up that my PlayStation View, which is my television service, was on recurring billing with my PayPal. So I'm going to have to change it to like a credit card or something tonight. Oh well. So tonight, 2 hours plug.
Wait a second. What happened to those tips or donations that you get immediately? You can't transfer it over from the account they're in to the account that your PS Live or whatever that is trying to pull out of? You should be able to do that immediately. So why not do that? Just saying. I mean, my bad. I don't want to throw too much logic into the situation.
The usual stuff, guys. If you cheer, sub, or tip, I'm going to give you a shout out. This is a very interactive stream because there's not much going on in the game in particular. So it's a lot of fun to talk with you guys constantly.
So that you could all send me money. Quick buck. Please tip me if you at all can. Reason being, as I just told you, my finances are incredibly tight. It's greed. Greed is massively strong.
Sure is.
I have no fucking self-control.
Sure don't.
So anything you can do tonight is appreciated. But in particular, if you tip me right now, it'll help me out tremendously.
Johnny Swords does any special plans for tomorrow? Not really. I mean, I don't like announcing what we're doing simply because when I do, you never know when you're going to get a weirdo stalker who's going to try to fucking do something and show up where you are and try to start shit. You know what I mean? We really don't have anything special planned. We will be going out to get to dinner somewhere. We're not decided yet. We have a few plans of a couple places we want to go, but we don't have a lot of money to spend on anything. So it's going to be more of us kind of just trying to enjoy a nice day out there. It's supposed to be nice weather tomorrow with no rain. So here's hoping it's nice because we actually have a place we want to walk around a little bit. And it'll work out obviously if there's no rain. So there you go. Do you want to play the fucking game? Johnny Sources, have I had...
You know what, Phil? I'm gonna slide you with some advice. Just because you obviously don't know what you're doing. So tomorrow's supposed to be a nice day, right? Dude, I would ask you to do this, but you can't. So just have Kat do it. Why don't you guys go out for like a picnic or something in the park? You know what I'm saying? Like, go out there, get some fresh air. You know what I'm saying? Have her, I don't know, put some sandwiches together, some salad, something light. You know what I mean? Shoot, she can even throw a couple. She can throw a couple of cocktails in there, and go out to the park, man. You know what I'm saying? Go out to the beach, or something. You know, spend the day out there. Go walking around. Do some window shopping. Window shopping, Phil, means you don't actually buy anything. Means you kind of just go through. You take a look. People do that all the time. You know what I mean? Just, you know, go to the zoo, go to the aquarium. Like I said, like Snort Burnell said, go off and do something that's a bit more interactive, I should say, and is really spending time with each other. Don't do what you did with Panda, where you guys went off to all these places for a half hour here, and then like every 2 hours you guys were going to eat, or well, you were going to eat, I should say. Don't do that. Especially if you're so strapped for cash. There's a whole bunch of things you could do. I think a picnic would be a good idea, but that's just me. I'm a bit of a romantic, so that's I don't mind doing stuff like that. But whatever.
Stalkers before. Well, I haven't had direct stalkers, but the thing is, see, like pictures have surfaced on the internet that people have taken of me in the mall and shit. And pictures have surfaced of people taking pictures of stuff in Connecticut.
Okay, he's talking about the condo. He's talking about the situation with the condo and like when the fire broke out. And I'll try to have this picture in my video where they on his door. It's crazy. I'll show it to you guys. I'll show it to you. It's fucking crazy. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's pretty much sucked. Jesus Christ, look at that.
That I used to go to, and...
Alright, so the situation with the condo, we talked about it a little bit where the fire broke out. What I had left out, though, is someone on his old door had basically compiled a bunch of face shots of Phil and different expressions, taped that on his door. It's all kinds of silly shit. It's like I said, I'll have pictures of it throughout the video so you can see what I'm talking about. Wow. And that hole, bruh, like, he needs to get that shit taken care of and whatnot, because obviously it's going to drip down into his particular unit, and that's just even more money that's going to take, unless he has insurance. So, hopefully Phil does.
It's just weird. It's like, you never know. You never know when someone's going to take it to the next level. Some weirdo going to fucking, I'm going to do this today on Saturday when I'm out. Next thing you know, there's fucking people showing up and harassing me and Kat. I don't want that, so.
Obviously, if you run into me, you're going to be in trouble.
That's why I'm not going to give you too much information on anything that I'm really doing at any time. Yeah, it was pretty creepy seeing pictures posted on the internet of someone who had taken a picture of me when I was at the mall. And it wasn't like, they introduced themselves, they wanted a selfie or anything. No, they were just taking, like, surveillance pictures of me with their phone and stalking me around the fucking mall. Creepy assholes. And then, of course, there's no end to people...
I remember that video. Or I remember those pictures, too, because I did a video on that, actually. That was kind of crazy. I do remember that. I actually remember that distinctly. And actually, if I remember correctly, Phil either just ignored that altogether or denied that was him. I can't remember which one. So... And the funny thing is if the girl in the picture, I'll put the picture in the video too if you guys don't remember that. If the girl in the picture isn't Kat, then who was she? Just some food for thought.
Make shit up too and say that I ran into Phil here and like there was some guy in stream chat saying that he had run into me at some place I never heard of. I was like, dude, you're a liar. Get the fuck out of here. And people posted nasty shit up on the internet. I ran into Phil at this place. He was a dick. Like, okay. Whatever you say. Any place I've ever been that I ever met a respectful fan, I'm more than happy to say hello, to shake their hand, to take a picture. I don't care. It's cool to me. I'm the nicest freaking guy in real life. I'm not a jerk or anything. But I mean, now people...
How is this different from real life, though, Phil? When on your couch, you basically tell everybody what your real life is. Or at least what the comings and goings are of your life. Is that not real? Are the taxes all a lie? Is all this financial strife you're in, all fake? Are you pulling a Madoff? What's the, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to think about it that way. I would assume, Phil, that, keep in mind, as it pertains to YouTube personalities, a lot of people are not like who you think they are. That's obvious, and there's plenty of people who have made videos on that. But with Phil Burnell, DSP, Darkside Phil, what you see is what you get. To be honest. Does that mean that he's not a decent human being out in public? Sure. How often does Phil go out? There you go. How often does someone really run into him? Not very often, I would think. Especially if he has to work 6 days at 12 hours a day for the business. Hey, his words, not mine. Just saying.
We're gonna start making shit up and stuff. Yeah, okay, assholes.
Stop being a drama queen. Over dramatic. Drama queen, toxic. Just a reminder, guys, if you really want to help me out, tipping is the way to go. Right now, tips help me a ton. And I appreciate anyone who tips me tonight because I'm going to put that straight into my bank account to clear my bills for the month. Just a reminder, guys, if you really want to help me out tonight, because I know it's the second hour now, I didn't mention this second hour yet, tipping me tonight is the way to go.
Aren't you supposed to be saving that for the pre-stream? Now you're actually doing that in the middle of gameplay? For shame, sir. Especially when you said you weren't going to do that. You said you were going to save all plugs for the pre-streams, not for the actual gameplay. Now look at you. For shame, sir. For shame.
I really need your help with tips right now because my finances are very tight, very, very tight. Because I spent so much money paying off my taxes last month that I'm nervous about having all my bills clear this month. So if you want to help, please tip me. Thank you. Well, Robert literally just said the best thing. You created the monster. You unleashed the monster.
Sure did.
And now your complaint is, well, the monster's too powerful to control.
What'd you want from me?
Well, fuck you. That's your fault.
Nothing I could do, dude.
You created the monster, you unleashed the monster, and now you're angry the monster is too powerful. That's your fault. Right, it would be like Dr. Frankenstein, right? Oh my...
He really loves those detractor memes. I know Tevin talks about this a lot, but Jesus Christ, he really loves those detractor memes. He really does. He said he enjoys the hell out of them. Huh.
Oh my God, I made a Frankenstein's monster. Oh, it's horrible. It's killing people. Oh, but it's not my fault.
Yeah, kinda.
Man, I'm stupid.
Yeah, you are.
Smack Camera, yeah, I'm aware that Tevin just sits there and watches my fucking streams constantly on YouTube. I'm fully aware. I mean,
Shout outs.
all the guy does is spend all his time constantly talking about.
Now, this is before he went off on that little rant the other yesterday. Yesterday being the 7th. So he's been thinking about that means he's had Tevin on the brain for, let's see, this was Snort Burnell put this out on the 5th, so that means that came out on the 4th. So he was thinking about Almighty Tevin for like 3 days. Wow, that's impressive, Phil. Especially since you spent all those years, trying to ignore Tevin, acting like he didn't exist because you wanted to focus on SOK. But now you're spending 3 or 4 straight days thinking about him. That's riveting. That's absolutely riveting, Phil.
I mean, he's got no life. That's all he does.
Oh, I'm sorry. Last time I checked, he has a job, and he streams. And when he streams on Twitch, especially, very rarely do you come up. He definitely doesn't go over any of your content when he's over there. He's a pretty funny guy, too, on Twitter, too, by the way. I mean, you should know that, Phil. You got him blocked. You got us all blocked. So, there you go on that. Yeah. And this is coming from the guy who sits on his couch all day begging for money. Or love seat. All day begging for money. Because he can't do anything else. He can barely cook for himself, let alone anything else. Leanne was gone for like 6 months, and he was finally coming around to learn how to use the washer machine. Gotcha.
Thinks it's cool. He thinks he's doing a public service or something. I don't know what he thinks.
Yeah, he does.
I don't really give a fuck about him. That's why I don't really bother talking about him, because he's a fucking no-life idiot.
And yet you feel the need to talk about him now.
Illegally restreaming constantly. That's really a productive thing to
Illegal? I'm sorry, the feds after him?
do with your life.
My mouth is full of salt. Tons of salt. I'm just bored. The game stinks. Bored. I wish there would be better conversations in stream chat tonight. Because sometimes people talk about crazy stuff when I play this.
Whoa. What do you mean you wish there was better stuff in the stream chat? It's hey, Phil. Lights, camera, action. We on. You're supposed to be the center of attention. Why don't you build the conversation? Why does it have to be the people in the stream chat? The same, and you probably would have some really great questions if you didn't ban almost everybody. Or everybody who's interesting. Or who's entertaining. All you have in there is sheep. And all of them are, well, most of them, are scared to speak their mind. It's your fault. But then that also proves yet again that you don't like PUBG. You do it merely because you want money. It proves that. Oh boy.
This game is very entertaining. Today's been kind of tame. So it's been pretty boring, not gonna lie. Anyone else got anything else to talk about? If not, I'm just gonna kill myself quick and say call it a night, because the chat is like dead now, and I don't know why. The chat's like super dead, and no one's talking anymore. I'm really good at improv style observational commentary. That's my forte. That's always been what I'm
like that Dead Space 2 stuff, huh?
good at. And that's the whole point of me playing this game. So if people are bored and just have moved on, I'm just going to stop. Am I losing my groove? Is it that people aren't entertained by me anymore?
Not at all. Oh, that's amazing.
What pasta do you prefer? I I prefer a penne.
Wow. All right, guys. So there you go. Got a couple of revelations, but to be honest with you, it was nothing that we didn't already know. So he cheated on the redemption run. We all should have suspected that. Got to get this paper together before that vacation, and we'll see how much of that he decides to put out and what he doesn't. Because to be honest with you, as one of you have said in the comment section of my video today, he needs Cat. He needs Cat in the worst possible way to get views. It's starting to come down to that. So I assume he's going to document their time out, but he probably won't put it out right away. But to be honest with you, he needs something. Because now the PUBG cow is about done. It's about drained out. That well is run dry almost. There's not really much left, to be honest. So he has to do something. So the exploitation of her should be in full effect. A lot of people on Kiwi Farms, for example, they have a poll going on. Will we get to see Cat again by June, July, I think. So it's gonna be a hot summer, Phil. We'll have to wait and see how you're gonna plan that out. We'll wait and see what your next move is. And as it pertains to Tevin, like I said, I'll do a video on recent events. But he's been talking about Tevin for the last couple of days. To be honest with you, it's an easy stick to poke Phil with. So none of us should be surprised by that at all whatsoever. But we'll wait and see how that all plays out. Should be good. I'm not sure if I'm going to do, like I said, the video right away, because there's a couple of videos that I need to grab some stuff from before we get into that. So who knows what the next couple of days will provide. We'll just have to wait and see when that comes about. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on a GTG Network and Productions. My bad. I'm your host / anchor, GTG, and I'm signing off. End the broadcast. Oh boy. Phil. No matter what, we're going to find out what you're going to do on your vacation anyway. I mean, you're going to tell us. It's what you do. No point in running from it.